All right, greetings, brothers and sisters. I hope you had a great Monday. It is Monday, June 29th, 2026, about 6:05 p.m. Uh, Before we start with questions, I was just looking, I listened to the video and I listened at what we talked about yesterday, and we only went a little over an hour, but boy, did we talk about some stuff. Uh, We started off with Myra, excuse me, question about the numerology of July 4th, 1776. And George went into that beautifully and opened our eyes to that. And it really kind of set the stage for the day when he talked about being in alignment with the five elements of of water, air, fire, earth, and ether, and he explained those. He talked about the synergy of nature, and he talked about being in alignment with freedom. And Pastor took it from there and talked about freedom and what it feels like to be free and what that really means. Uh, we also, the main part of what we discussed came from a video that a young lady was expressing her feelings about, excuse me, let me
Uh,
my
she
I'm
was
about to
how she felt about us.
yeah this Haitian woman was speaking on how they built this country, and I guess she was kind of venting about what was going on in her community, and one of the social media influencers got a hold of it and was kind of dissecting it, and so we talked about that a great deal. And we talked about the Cableonians and the diaspora and how they see us and what they think of us being the blacks in, and I'm using the word blacks because that was kind of part of the focus on yesterday. Uh, but people denying who they are, and we even talked in the end about how it is extremely important to us to when we meditate, when we pray, or when we speak with the ancestors, to seek forgiveness, to seek how to reach them, how to get to let me see. We are it is incumbent upon us to be the perpetuators of for humanity, that we are the ones who stand in the gap in the bridge and let us be who be created to be. And the one thing that, because I'm skipping a lot of things, but a couple of things stood out to me. One of them was when Pastor said, no one else has identified as being black. We are the melanated, being melanated, that we who ancestors were enslaved in this country. In other words, no one has that opportunity but us, and that kind of stuck with me. Uh, so, Lot said yesterday, and that is my undetailed uh, kind of a synopsis of it. But any questions or comments?
Let me um, say the reason I said black because someone may hear this and not be on, and not understand why I said that about saying that we are black. We identified as black because there are so many of us who say that black is the color. That's not who we are. And I've been down that road because I was one who to say that as well. I was one to teach that. However, um, when you know better, when you learn better, you do better. And what I have learned rather, is that um, the labels that we had or the description of us by being black is simply talking about being melanated. And when we talk about we are from these different countries, keep in mind that we didn't name the countries. We didn't name Nigeria. We did not name Niger. So we didn't name these countries. So all of us were called black people, and and by being called black people, um, we we didn't actually understand it until now that Kemet means black and Ethiopia burnt skinned people. So that's why um, I used to term black and say that the only people who are identified as black is us, because everyone, the Haitian is the Haitian, the Jamaican is Jamaican, etc., and on down the line. The only people are us
Yeah.
who are labeled as being black, and that's because of the melanated, the energy rather, and the purpose for our having been brought to this country, and the purpose for us now assembling ourselves to bring balance to the world. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to mention a couple other things that I thought were important yesterday that I skipped. Uh, our discussion on birthright and George saying, understanding our true nature and expanding our consciousness. I thought, wow, that kind of stuck with me as well. And pastor saying we are the only ones with a true birthright, and that made me think of the great responsibility we have. So at some point, I wouldn't mind talking about birthright again. A couple of things I wouldn't mind looking up though, and the other one that I thought was important that I skipped over is when we talked about the cornerstone. Evelyn asked a question about the cornerstone, and we concluded with Evelyn, Audrey, and Pastor's discussion that we are the cornerstone as well as the cosmic mother. So those are the things that I thought really, really stood out yesterday, to me anyway. Some of the things to talk about. But anyone else, any questions or comments on any of this? No questions? Okay. Thanks, guys. Pastor, you have somewhere you want to take us tonight?
No, not in particular. Um, Yesterday, when when George did the Gamatra on July 4th, 2026, if I'm not mistaken, the route number was 8. Am I right, George?
Yes, you are. Yes, that's the root number. Yep.
Thank you. And when you talked about what 8 means, uh, having thought about it afterwards, after we had finished, 8 speaks to a new beginning also.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So so how do I see that being related to us and where we are on our journey? The 4th of July is celebrated as being the birth of America, the birth of the USA. And if 8 means a new beginning, what does this mean to us in terms of the 4th of July? Spiritually, a new beginning is for us in this country is all about bringing balance so that there can be a change in the attitudes of the people in the earth. So from that, I conclude that this country will be on a different trajectory following the 4th of July. And the trajectory that it will be on is one that has been established by us. The journey that it has been traveling since its inception has been one of complete chaos. And it has simply traveled in circles. Um, recycling hatred and racism. This time will be different. We will begin to see the balance that we have been talking about. We will begin to see it manifested. This is the new beginning. And the reason I'm so, I'm leaning, the reason I'm embracing it so tightly is because no one can declare a new beginning or a beginning. No one can bring into existence a beginning except the one who brought beginning into existence. And the source is the one who brought beginning into existence. And out of beginning came Elohim. So out of the womb of beginning came us. And because we are in this earth to dominate, to set boundaries, we are the ones who are making a declaration at this moment that the 4th of July will not be what they think it's going to be. Excuse me. 250 is 7. And 7 is the day that the Creator, it says, rested. But 7 is the highest height of man making efforts to do things as he chooses to, and to make himself a God, to lord himself over everything. The end of that is when things start all over again. So this 7, it has ended the creation of or the existence rather of a nation that is steeped in hatred and whose foundation is racism. And as I said, they keep recycling it over and over again. This shall not be a continuous thing, because now the journey is no longer a circle. It is now linear. And being linear, we are going to see the things that take place really much faster than we could ever have anticipated being so. That is also the reason I have no concerns about AI in terms of it having an adverse effect on humanity. And I'm not concerned about it ever having an effect on us as a people, because regardless of what you bring into existence, there's nothing you can do about divinity. So if you read Daniel and what Daniel saw, if you read what John on the Isle of Patmos, the descriptions of the things that they saw can be what we can see them are being put in place now. The whole idea of robots is to create a man, to bring into existence a being that can be controlled, a being that can think, a being that can be elevated among humans, and can keep not only humans in line, but also to be lorded over the divine ones, the first people to be brought into this earth setting. None of that is going to take place, because this is the end of the America that we have known all of these years. And all I ask you to do is make a note of it so you don't forget it. And watch and see what transpires following this 4th of July.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When you say nothing's going to come of it because it's linear, do you mean that it's bound by time, whereas we function outside of time?
No, it's not bound by time. When I said linear, that was the only word that came to me, by the way. It's not going to be it's going to be a continuous manifestation of righteousness. Maybe that's a better way of putting it.
Oh no. You were talking about. It wasn't in context of you're describing what's going to happen. It was in the context of talking about what folk were doing, but that it would come to no good because it's linear or something. You said.
Yeah. Well, it won't come. It won't come not unto us because of who we are, and we are the buffer between what they are creating or what they are bringing into existence and the rest of humanity. We are the divine ones in the earth, and being so, we do operate, we do function, we do live outside of the boundaries of time. However, we do step into the arena of time when we are interacting with the material bodies in this earth realm. The idea of bringing into existence the mindset of Mayat is something that we do outside of the outside of the arena of time. But to see it manifest, it will be seen in the boundaries of time, because humanity lives within the parameters of time itself. I hope I'm not being confusing.
No.
That's fine.
Barbara?
No, that's I'm straight.
Okay. That's what I'm trying to say anyway. All I want us to do, as I said, is to make a note of that and begin to see the changes. One way to see them more clearly is to refrain from being in a state of fear about anything. Another way is by being very positive in our speech, in our actions, thoughts, and desires. Reminding ourselves who we are on a continuous basis. Understanding that the time period for us to reclaim our position, maybe our place in this earth realm is now. And in order for that to take place, there had to be a resurgence of the public racism that we have experienced, or our ancestors experienced in the past. And we have that resurgence, even to the extent of lynching by hanging. There are a large number of people of African descent who have been hung or been found hanging in this country, and every single one of them has been called a suicide, none of which I believe. The speech is no different than what it was during the period of overt racism. And now we are back at that same place. I am waiting, as most of you probably, for this verdict to come down about birthright citizenship. in this country, and it should come down sometime this week. That's going to be interesting to see how the Supreme Court deals with that. So anyway, I also have noted that the Hispanics were dealt with first in terms of immigrants being chased out of the country. And the next ones are people who look like us. And I do not believe for a moment that the Haitians are going to be the only ones who's attacked. My expectation is for Jamaicans to be next. Anybody from the islands to be next. And I do not rule out, based upon what the Supreme Court says, the agitation that we will experience in our communities. And that's okay, because there is no defeat for us, and there must not be any fear of defeat by us. Any questions or comments? Okay, so anyway,
I was kind of looking at this afternoon, and I kind of lost track of time a little bit. But looking at the scriptures and looking at the birthright, that oldest son, as it will, was supposed to get half of everything. And I think that was said in a manner of the law, maybe. But spiritually, I think, as you and George pointed out yesterday, the birthright, being that oldest person, has a responsibility. And that responsibility is for those that fall under age-wise. And because they are, as you said yesterday, not being the first, they don't have a birthright. So you have to look at your understanding of that and see that my responsibility is to take care of them and show them who they are and how we are one together. And I'm not at this position simply because I'm the oldest male. I'm in this position because I am the one, after my mother and father. I am the one who take responsibility for your nourishment, meaning spiritually, your growth in who you are. And I know that, the priesthood and all that was wrapped up in that. I just since you brought up birthright tonight and what's going on in this country, I just want to kind of say that and establish what birthright truly is. And we have that responsibility because I don't know if anybody else recognizes that. I hope that makes sense a little bit anyway. Pastor, are you talking?
The right, thank you. The rights at birth are determined by the one who created us. That's where our birthrights came from, right?
Right.
So the question is, what birthrights are given to the ones who came from us? if we are um, the divine ones, if we are divinity. Um, I do believe if you read the preamble to some of the documents that founded this country, you will find that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is a birthright. However, those words were written by those who took everyone else's birthrights, but those words did not originate with them. The Iroquois
Yeah.
is where they got the writings that they called the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, but more importantly, the Declaration of Independence came from the Iroquois. And the Iroquois had entered into a pact with um, other tribes, and they wrote a constitution, and they wrote what was called to them. What was it? It was not a Bill of Rights. It was something else they called it, but that's what it morphed into with Benjamin Franklin and the rest of the dudes. So, what am I saying to you? I'm saying to you that the Iroquois was us.
And that's kind of my point. I guess I didn't explain it. What people call a birthright is a lawful thing. I don't see anyone having the birthright but the firstborn, and that is us. And what is shared with them is what takes the place of the birthright, meaning you're teaching them to be spiritual, showing them who they are. And if you do that, if it's allowed to be done, then you don't need uh, a state official birthright. It doesn't need something lawfully saying you're entitled to this. Uh, it is a
And
birthright is a spiritual thing, huh?
what you're saying then is that all the rights that humans have have already are already there, but they're spiritual
Yes,
as opposed to being written by a man.
correct.
Um, and that's important to note because if any right that you're given can be taken away,
Yeah.
any right that you are born with can never be taken away. You may forget who you are, but it can't be taken away. You can never be separated from it, even though you have amnesia when it comes to recalling it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we are in a truly precarious space right now. And what I have gleaned from the past few months that we have been seemingly teaching from a different space is that we have been putting things in the macro from a spiritual space and not in this material world. What I'm saying is this: the things that we have been putting in the macro did not come from the thoughts from outside of us. It came from the truth that we are. It came from the depths of the soul. It came from the light that we are, and did not come from the external thoughts that has been infused in us. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that is the reason that they have been that is the reason they have resonated so deeply because of that. I know for me personally, there are things that I said I don't recall, and there are things I said that did not process through my mind. They just came from my mouth, and I hear the same coming from some of you guys when you're speaking. That flesh and blood did not give you this. That it is the mind. I'm sorry. It is the the soul from which they came. I'm done.
Pastor, I got a question. It could be, like you said, something to this. My question, I'm hoping it's the same thing I had talked about before. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. It's in the scripture. I don't forgot what page or what chapter it's in. The man asked Jesus. He wants to understand spiritual things. And the man named Jesus told him, how can I teach you spiritual things and you can't understand earthly things? So it will give me an understanding of it. Then I can ask questions on it.
Jesus says that you don't even know what's going on around you. You can't even read the signs of the times. And you're asking me to tell you about spiritual things. You are not able to digest them or to understand them if you really don't understand what's going on around you. That's basically what he was saying. And you say, but I do understand. Just because you know what's going on around you, it does not mean that you understand it.
So it's like that Iraq war is going on around us, but you telling us the understanding of why it's going on like that. So that's what you're saying?
Yes. Well, let's even be more, bring it up to today. Why is it that the war was taking place with Iran? For the same reason they went into Venezuela. People think that it happened only because of oil. But the real reason that they wanted the oil, why? Why did they want the oil now and not previously? It wasn't because they were selling oil to China, even though the news said that. It is because the Saudis refused to sign the document saying that they will continue to sell oil using dollars only. And America understood what that meant. What that meant is if they were going to sell oil with yuans or any other currency, it was going to deplete the value of the dollar even more than it's already depleted. So the reason they went after the oil in two of the largest deposits of oil known to man is because they knew if they took the oil from Venezuela and controlled the oil in Iran, that they could prop the dollar up because they will only sell oil from that they got from Iran and Venezuela. They will only sell it using dollars, using the American currency. They are trying to find a way to prop up the currency. And we know that the reason the currency has to be propped up with oil is because it is no longer backed by gold. The government left the gold standard in 1974, but the government did not move away from the gold standard in 74 because they wanted to. They did not have a choice. In 1971, Nixon had money printed that went, the amount of money that he had printed to support the war in Vietnam, that money exceeded the amount of gold that we had in Fort Knox. And when the money in circulation, the paper money in circulation exceeded the value of the gold, that's when we came off the gold standard and entered into that agreement with the Saudis first and other oil producers afterwards that all oil would be sold using the dollar. And right now we are back in the same place. So what has happened in the last 5 minutes maybe? We stated what's being done in terms of the oil, the war, but understanding the reasons behind it gives us a greater sense of what's going on. And now that we know what's going on and the reason that these things happen the way that they have, now the question becomes, what do we do about it? There is absolutely nothing the citizenry can do about it. Citizens can't do anything about it. Yet we are able to do everything about it. And that is to continue put the spiritual truth into the macro and continue to follow the guidance of the ancestors. Continue to desire for the eyes to see what's going on and the ears to hear, and for whatever, and this be done by any means necessary. And what's happening is the people who hurt the most must be the people of European descent in order for anything to change. Our spiritual discussions, our spiritual understanding, our spiritual desires for balance is the catalyst that's causing all of these things to take place that has put Europeans in the streets and resulted in, of course, some of them being killed. And as a result of that, there is a huge resistance to what's going on now. And the ones who are in the streets doing this resisting don't know where it came from, and they don't really understand the nuances of why America is engaged the way it is in other countries. And now even the people who were supportive of everything that this administration and this country was doing, they are now turning against it. They're not turning to God. They're not turning to the church. They're just turning against it. And when they turn against it, that is when we began to see other people searching for something better. And the search for something better is not just Caucasians, it's also those of Babylonian descent as well, because the mindsets are the same. And in order for things to change, the mindsets have to change. And right now, as we speak, things are about to get far worse than what they are. If I'm not mistaken in my dates, the big beautiful bill, some of the things in it, SNAP, Medicaid, SNAP, Medicaid, and healthcare, all of that is about to come into effect on the 15th of this month. And if that indeed takes place on the 15th of this month, then in the next 14 days after that, or the next 30 days after that, you will begin to see a totally different attitude directed towards the governing body of this country. That's what's happening. That's the politics of it. And on the surface, it's only politics. But the depth of it is spiritual. And unless there is discomfort, there is no search for something better. And these things that are going to be discomforting to a large number of people is going to be the catalyst that causes them to question everything. And now, let's take all of those things that are taking place that I've talked about. Where did all that come from? Our desire for everything to come to the surface, our desire for exposure of everything that has held humanity captive for all of these years and been extremely brutal, barbaric towards us as a people in terms of Babylonians. All of these things are desired. Our desire, rather, for all these things to be exposed is what's causing all of these events to take place. And because we understand the events that are taking place and what they and the reason they're taking place, it is now that we are able to understand spiritual things. Because not only do we know what's going on around us, we also understand the nuances of it. We understand why it's happening, how it's happening, who's perpetrating it. We understand those things. Because we understand what's going on, we are more in tune with the spiritual essence of everything simply by our desires for all of these things to be exposed. So Jesus, the words attributed to Jesus were saying, you need to understand what's going on around you, and then you will begin to understand spiritual things. Because this spiritual journey did not begin in the spirit, neither did it begin in the heavens. This spiritual journey that we are on had its genesis in religion. And it led us through the different aspects of religion until we got to this place where we are able to see the spiritual nature of everything that is. Does that help you, Charles?
Yes, sir, man. It helps real good.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about that? Does that resonate, guys?
It does. It helped explain what Charles' question was really well for me.
Thank you.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm done.
Any thoughts or questions, anybody? You have anything? Okay. Well, if you have something, please jot it down. If not, we'll resume next week. Thank you for your thoughts and questions.
Thank you. Thank you guys for your presence, your energy.
Thank you.
Take care, family.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.